The advertisement glowed on Elias's old data slate. The word stark and cruel against the forward grain of his kitchen table. Oxoran female. Breeding age. Certificate of health. Seek sponsorship/union. And then, scrawled in a different hasty font by the agency. Note, Clyde rejected. Failed to meet aesthetic standards. Excessive corpulence. Elias Vance rubbed a callous hand over his face, the stubble scratching like sandpaper. He wasn't looking for a wife. He was looking for help. The farm, a stubborn patch of terraformed dirt on the frontier world of Sylvan, was swallowing him whole. The memory of Sarah, bright and warm as the sun on ripe wheat, was a constant, aching hollow in his chest. 2 years, and the silence in the old farmhouse still screamed. His daughter, Lily, was 7. She needed more than a father who came in from the field smelling of sweat and defeat, his hands too tired to braid her hair. He needed a caretaker, a housekeeper, a practical solution. The ad was for a mail-order bride, a concept that felt archaic and desperate, but the appended note, excessive corpulence, made his jaw tighten. It was needlessly cruel. He made the call. A week later, a ground transport deposited a single figure at the end of his long, dusty driveway. Elias watched from the porch, Lily peeking out from behind his worn trousers. The Oxoran female was substantial. The agency's cruel description was technically accurate, but they had utterly failed to capture the reality of her. Her skin wasn't just iridescent. It was a shifting tapestry of pearlescent blues and soft lavenders, like the inside of a seashell. Her form was lush, curved, and solid, a stark contrast to the gaunt, angular models often featured in xenological bulletins. The delicate sensory tendrils that framed her face trembled slightly, and she held herself with a dignity that seemed to dare him to comment. Her large, luminous eyes, the color of amber, held a deep, weary sorrow he recognized all too well. "I am Kaelin," she said, her voice a soft, melodic chime. She did not look at him, but the vast, empty sky, as if bracing for another rejection. "Elias Vance," he grunted, nodding. "This is Lily." Lily, emboldened by curiosity, stepped out. "You're shiny," she declared. A flicker of something. Surprise? Amusement? Crossed Kaelin's features. "It is how I am made." The first days were a study in quiet tension. Kaelin moved through the farmhouse with surprising, heavy grace. She learned the quirks of the old sonic cleaner, the specific thump the water pump needed to get started. She was a meticulous, if quiet, presence. She cooked simple, nourishing meals, her knowledge of alien botany allowing her to enhance the flavor of the bland, genetically modified vegetables Elias grew. But she was haunted. Elias saw in the way she sometimes stared into the middle distance, her tendrils going still. He saw it in the careful way she avoided taking up space, as if she'd been told her entire life that her very existence was an imposition. The breaking point for Elias came on market day. He'd taken Lily and Kaelin into the small frontier town. As they passed the agency that placed her ad, the manager, a slick man named Rorik, stepped out. "Vance, heard you took on our surplus stock," Rorik said, his voice a loud, greasy thing. He didn't look at Kaelin, but his meaning was clear. "Hope she's earning her keep. Not much use for a broodmare that can't pull a plow, eh?" Kaelin seemed to shrink, her luminous skin dulling with shame. She took a half step behind Elias, as if trying to vanish. A cold fury, clean and sharp, rose in Elias's chest. He'd heard enough cruelty in his life, from the land, from fate, from small-minded men. He would not have it in his home, directed at someone under his protection. He turned to Rorik, his voice low and steady, carrying the weight of a man who could break a stubborn field with his own 2 hands. "You will not speak of her that way," he said. "She is worth 10 of you." He turned his back on the sputtering man and looked at Kaelin. Her amber eyes were wide, fixed on him with an expression of pure, uncomprehending shock. No one had ever defended her. Not like that. That evening, the silence in the house was different. It was no longer empty, but charged. Lily was asleep. Elias found Kaelin on the back porch, looking out at the field silver by Sylvan's twin moons. "He was not wrong," she said softly, without turning. "On my world and on yours, my form is undesirable. I was rejected by my own clan for it. The agency was my last hope." Elias leaned against the doorframe, the wood warm from the day's sun. He thought of Sarah, not as she was at the end, pale and thin from the sickness, but in her vibrant prime. She had been soft, rounded, a woman built for hugging and for life. He'd loved every inch of her. "This is a hard world, Kaelin," he said, his voice rough. "It doesn't care for pretty. It cares for strong. It cares for substance. He gestured to the vast, sleeping land. This farm, it's stubborn. It needs strength to make it bloom. So does a little girl. He took a step towards her. That man today, he saw a thing he couldn't use. I see. He paused, searching for the right words. Words that weren't about contracts or practicality. I see a woman who has known sorrow and hasn't let it break her. I see hands that are gentle with a child and strong enough for a day's work. I see substance. Kaelin turned to face him fully. The moonlight caught the pearlescent swirls on her skin, making her seem like a figure carved from a living galaxy. The shame in her eyes was gone, replaced by a fragile, dawning hope. What are you saying, Elias Vance? He took a final step, closing the distance between them. He didn't touch her, but his presence was an offer, a shelter. I'm saying the agency was a fool. I'm saying that excessive corpulence is just another way of saying there's more of you to love. The old-fashioned phrase felt clumsy in his mouth, but it was true. I'm offering you more than a job. I'm offering you a place, a home, for as long as you want it. Tears, like liquid amber, welled in Kaelin's eyes and traced paths down her shimmering cheeks. It was not a declaration of love. That would come later, slowly, like the first green shoots after a long winter, built over shared meals and quiet evenings, forged in the joy of Lily's laughter returning to the house. It was something more fundamental, an offer of respect, of value, of belonging. She placed one of her three-fingered hands over his where it rested on the porch railing. Her touch was cool, but it sent a wave of warmth through him that he hadn't felt in years. Then I accept, Elias, she chimed softly. I accept. In the weeks that followed, Kaelin didn't just occupy space in the farmhouse. She filled it. Her presence was a grounding, nurturing force. She helped Elias in the fields, her solid strength a perfect counterbalance to his lean endurance. She taught Lily songs from Axora, their melodies like wind chimes and falling water. The house began to feel like a home again, not a museum of grief. One evening, as they sat on that same porch, watching the moons rise, Lily crawled into Kaelin's lap with contented sigh. Kaelin's ample form made a perfect, comfortable chair for the little girl. She wrapped her arms around Lily, who snuggled in, safe and secure. I love you, Mama Kay, Lily murmured, already half asleep. Elias met Kaelin's gaze over their daughter's head. Her amber eyes were soft, full of the love that had been waiting for a place to land. In her, he had not found a replacement for Sarah. That was impossible, but had found a partner, a new and different kind of love, strong and deep-rooted as the oldest tree on his land. He reached out and took her hand, lacing his rough, work-worn fingers with her cool, graceful ones. She was not a rejected commodity, and he was no longer a struggling widower. They were the foundation of something new, something strong, something built not on aesthetics, but on the unshakable, abundant substance of the heart.